disclosure. Sober disclosure. Breezy's a slut.
Timmy likes it in the butt.
Are you or someone you know looking for support in recovery? Taste Recovery is your go-to directory for sober resources. Whether you're searching for treatment centers or sober living communities, Taste Recovery connects you with the right tools and support to help you on your journey. With a user-friendly platform and a comprehensive list of resources, Taste Recovery makes finding the help you need easier than ever. Start building your path to a healthier, sober life today. Visit tasterecovery.com to find the resources that work for you. Taste Recovery, your first step to a lasting positive change. Hi everyone, I'm Breezy.
And I'm Jimmy.
And we are
Sober
Disclosure.
We're here with Gay Face Brent.
Gay face. Cute. Cute.
I did it, but I said it before you say it to me.
That's true.
Jimmy literally said, "Oh my god, he calls me gay face."
And I said, "What's gay face?"
He
He goes, "You have gay face."
What is gay face?
Gay face is when you're walking down the street and someone looks at you and you're like, "Oh, he's gay," because he has
a gay face.
Yeah.
I love
But
that.
you know what? And you know what I saw later? What I thought of later is because I'm really cute.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would agree with that.
Gay face.
It's like really happy, really friendly, and really cute. And then you're gay face.
And really gay.
And really gay.
That was a throwback. That was a deep throwback from like.
Oh, that was a throwback for sure.
Saying gay face?
Yeah, gay face.
That's when I asked you to be my sponsor, and you said yes, gay face.
Yes.
So we're here with Gay Face Brent.
Love this.
Which one's my camera?
Yes.
We can only afford one.
Not as official as you think.
Yeah. Podcasts have like 6 cameras.
Yeah.
We only have one.
I always thought audio though.
But people think that we have more because of my editing skills.
Oh, that's true.
Good. Anyways, Brent.
We don't have to edit Brent's face because it's full of filler.
It is. That's true. I've had some help.
My God.
Yeah, I'm gonna be 45.
I was just saying, I just got Botox, and my face hurts right now because I'm trying so hard to move it and it's not moving.
Do you get the headache after it gets done?
Yeah, but it's so worth it. I don't care.
Yeah,
I do.
I love it. Okay, anyways, back to sobriety.
I'm sober.
We all clearly love ourselves so much. We're getting all of this filler and Botox in our face.
I know.
It's about self-love. Anyways. Okay, Brent, so how much time sober do you have?
8.5 years about. Yeah, I got sober.
And that's the real one or the...
That's consecutive sobriety.
Okay.
So I have consecutive sobriety and cumulative. So I got sober in 2012, 23, 2005 for about 3.5 years. And then I got loaded and was out until 2016. So I've been sober since July the 4th of 2016.
You were out for a while.
Yeah, long time.
Wow. Okay, so you have 2 different sobrieties.
Yeah.
Correct?
That's true. And they've been so very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
How were they so very different?
The first sobriety I had, like, I really wanted to get sober. Like, I absolutely wanted to get sober. I was addicted to crack cocaine, and I was, like, putting my life on the line every single time for, like, a hit.
And your ass.
That's true. I did run, I call it a customer service operation. I ran a customer service operation out of a park restroom for a long time.
And your ass was the customer service.
Ass adjacent.
Okay,
Yeah.
Someone's ass. Someone's ass was the customer service. Okay.
Exactly.
He's a top now.
Yeah.
That's true.
I've learned so much.
This is about honesty, right?
Yeah,
We're
it is. I already know.
That's true.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I got sober, and I really wanted it. It was right after my father was hit and killed on his motorcycle, and it was just after Gay Pride. We were partying. It was obviously June Pride Month, and I got this call from my mom, who I hadn't talked to, saying my aunt in St. Louis was looking for me, and she said, "Your father's been hit. He's been rushed to a hospital in Indiana." And I remember showing up to his bedside, like not being able to not be loaded. Like just like my dad's last moments of life on this earth, I could not show up sober. And so I was like, I need to get sober. I want to get sober. I was addicted to crystal meth at 14 and went to rehab for the first time. So I knew I had a problem with like meth, but I always stayed away from that. And so when my dad died, I just was like very serious about it. And that happened in June 29th. And I didn't get sober till December of that year. Right. So from June 29th until 12/23 of that year, I
You were in and out?
not even in and out, just out. Yeah.
Just saying, I want to get sober. I
Yeah.
want to get sober.
And not being able to,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
thinking that I had self-will, or
Yeah.
I didn't have an understanding of like I needed a higher power. I just thought like I could say I wanted to get sober and make
Yeah,
it happen.
absolutely.
Right. And so
Yeah.
I wanted to will myself sober, and I just couldn't. I
Yeah.
just couldn't. It didn't happen. So I did what every grown man does. 2 days before Christmas, I was supposed to come home and visit my mom in California. I was living in St. Louis, Missouri. Real high class, you know. And I called her and I said, hey, I have something I have to tell you. And she thought I was bailing on Christmas. And I was like, actually, I'm addicted to crack cocaine. Like, I need to go to rehab. And so,
You're like,
Merry
yes,
Christmas.
but
Yeah. So I came home and I got sober, and it was so the irony, you know, like my higher powers a comedian, like stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And so I ended up being put back in this rehab that I was in at 14. It was called the Positive Action Center. It's not there anymore. It was at Tustin Santa Ana Hospital on Chapman. And that was like my first like super sober experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you stayed sober for 3 years.
Yeah, I stayed sober for 3 years. Like I wanted to be like A+ honor roll sobriety. That's, you know, so I was like doing all the 20 consequences because of my drinking and using. Like I stole money from my mom. I feel ashamed, right? And thinking consequences were enough to get me sober. And so I came out of that rehab and I got a job as a sober living manager, and I was like crushing sobriety, right? Going to like 6 meetings a week. I had commitments at all of them. Like I was just like doing Alcoholics Anonymous, but like not doing Alcoholics Anonymous.
Right.
And I remember it to this day because I was sitting in, there used to be a group over here in Costa Mesa at the 420 church. Do you remember that meeting?
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the back with a group of friends, and like this guy walked in the room, and I hadn't even met him yet. And I turned to my homeboy and I was like, we're getting married, me and this guy. And
Don't you know? Yeah.
And so I moved in with them immediately and made him my higher power.
Yeah.
And
you had 2+ years?
at 2 years at the time, yeah.
Okay.
And like made this man my higher power, and then stopped doing all the things that, you know, we're told not to do. I stopped going to meetings. I stopped having commitments. I stopped doing the steps. I stopped doing all of the things. Yeah, and then I got so crazy, like so insane sober, like crazy, that I needed ease and comfort, and I had to drink. Like I had to drink. And so that's what happened. And I learned a lot from that experience, but not enough to like get or keep me sober for the next, I don't know, 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then 7 years later,
smoking crack again on the mean streets of St. Louis.
Back in business.
Yeah.
And then 2016, you were in St. Louis still.
No, I was here. I moved back. So I knew I had a problem with crack cocaine. I knew I had a problem with crystal meth. I love pills. I'm a pillbilly, like through and through. I say no to nothing, but I was like, I'm not an alcoholic. There was that one time in Napa that I had a glass of champagne, right?
Yeah.
And I can beat the game. And so I went out and had to have that experience of like having really like alcoholic torture, like a thorough ass whooping from alcohol to get back here. But I did college, and that kept me away because, you know, my alcoholic mind was like, oh, like people who are drug addicts and alcoholic can't go through 4 years of college and get a bachelor's degree. Mind you, I like ended up in a coma in the middle of that. I had to drop a whole semester. I almost got my leg amputated. I was like jumping out of cabs because I didn't want to pay the fare, right? Running putting my foot through someone's like door because they wouldn't let me in to do like the last of the blow. I'm like, I was having all these experiences, but like I graduated college, so I can't be an alcoholic, right? So that was cute, really cute moments.
Delulu.
Yeah, yes, for sure.
So then when did you have a come to for this last sobriety?
Yeah, so I moved back after I graduated college. I moved back to California, and my parents have this, well, they had it. They sold it now, but they had a beach house in Sunset Beach, and I was living there for a while, and
I went, Brent's privileged.
Yeah, well, my parents are. Like, I was always the black sheep.
Brent's privileged.
Yeah, that's true. Like, that's not a lie.
Me
yeah,
too.
and so
It's okay.
fortunate, right?
Yeah.
We went to the yacht club, but I thought, like, this was my whole life, though. This is my whole life. Like, we go to cotillion and lollipop etiquette and go to the yacht club, but I want to, like, run creases through Dickies and sing Bone Thugs and Harmony, and I never wanted to, like, assimilate that life.
And he wants a BBC bukkake at the same time.
That's a little far, but yeah. But
So you moved back.
I moved back, and I was it was July the 3rd, right? And I remember partying at the beach house and like driving back to Long Beach where I had an apartment and like doing the one hand over the eye, seeing double, and just like being able to make it home into my bed and feeling like such relief, right? And I remember it to this day because I got home, I was like, I didn't get arrested, I didn't kill myself, I didn't kill someone else, thank God. And then I laid in bed with all that relief, and the thought came, you know what would be good right now if you got up and smoked crack, right? And I had like no defense against it, and I got up out of my bed, went to the corner store, did the business, and got high, but couldn't get high. Like, I just couldn't get high. And I remember 3 weeks before, I had texted a gentleman who was my sponsor in previous sobriety, and I said, like, I'm ready to get sober. And he's like, good. And that's all he said. And I was so resentful. I was like, what do you mean good? Fuck you. Like, I'm going to show you, you don't really mean this, Alcoholics Anonymous. And like, really what he was saying is you need to make the initiative.
Yeah.
And so on July 4th, I texted him, I'm like, I'm really ready to get sober. I need to go to a meeting. And he was like,
And was that D?
yeah, Daryl
yeah.
L, a Placentia, shout out.
Wow.
And I just remember it was July the 4th of 2016. It was a Monday. And what was so crazy is like, I thought I always had enough self-will to get sober on a Monday. I would always be like, I'm going to get sober
like a
on
diet.
Monday. Yeah. Or like what I would do is I would like, smoke, and I'd write down how much money I spent in a planner, like paper planners. It was very analog. And I'd be like 300 Friday, 400 Saturday. And like I'd add it up in the box on Sunday. It'd be like $700. Like, you should be ashamed of yourself. Like, this shame will carry you into sobriety come Monday. And I would feel ashamed, but Monday would come and that thought would be like, fix this, crack cocaine. Yeah. And I'd be off and running. And so it was like so crazy that I got sober on a Monday thinking I had the power to get sober on a Monday before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, so your sobriety date is the
4th of July.
Fourth
Yeah.
of July. That's sick.
That makes me want a hot dog.
Real bad.
Real
I
bad.
want a hot dog.
Real bad. Okay, so you got sober.
I did.
You called Daryl.
Mhm.
You went to the meeting. You knew what to do. What was different or not different?
Yeah, you said these two sobrieties
Are
have been so
different.
incredibly different.
You wanted to get sober the first time.
I thought I want,
Yeah, you thought. Well, that's true.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to get sober the first time. This time,
It's so crazy because I wanted to get I wanted to get sober. I knew I needed to get sober. It wasn't like it wasn't like the other bottoms I had been experiencing. It was more like a spiritual, emotional bottom. Like, I literally lived in my bathroom of this like shotgun apartment, like only leaving my apartment to get like Slurpees and fucking Skittles, right? Like, that's the like, like
that is crack for sure.
yeah. And
Not even meth.
yeah,
That's crack.
and I, what was different this time was I even came to that meeting. It was the True Colors meeting. It was at the Fullerton Alano Club. I think it's in some guy's backyard now. It was on Monday night, and it was like about hope. And I just went to that meeting. I was like, you know what? I'm hopeless. Like, I'm the opposite of what you guys are talking about. And I was like, I'm going to give this 30 days. Like I said, like, I'm going to commit to 30 days. Like, even like with the thorough ass whooping, I didn't know that I wanted to get sober. But what really had changed between that first sobriety and this sobriety is Daryl had gone through this big book awakening, if you will. It was like a process through the big book where like you really get sober on your truth. You turn the phrases in the big book into questions. You get dignity and grace to diagnose yourself. And like, he really connected with the power greater than himself and was able to transmit that to me the second time around, right? So the first time
Through
around,
words.
through words,
Okay.
yeah. Through words,
How else?
Through words.
not by injection of any sort, through words. Yeah, exactly. And so that was a big, like, I was making people, places, and things my higher power in sobriety won. So when I needed that defense against the first drink or drug, I just didn't have it,
Yeah,
right?
of
I didn't have
course.
access to a higher power because I didn't know what it was or how it was. And I was too embarrassed to be like, you guys keep talking about God of your own understanding, and I just don't know what that is, right?
So Daryl was your first sponsor in your first sobriety and your sponsor in your second sobriety.
Yeah.
But he changed.
Yeah.
He had a
changed.
spiritual change too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had an experience.
And Brent was my first sponsor
Yeah.
in this sobriety.
And you're still sober.
And I'm
You're
still
welcome.
sober. And I bled all over that beach house.
You were using together?
No.
Never. That would have been such a mess.
Oh my
Oh.
god. Dude,
there was
we
no
can't-
overlap.
no overlap. And I don't like crack.
Prove it.
It's too expensive. One hit, 3 hours. That's all I need. Okay. I went to his house for a party. He was my sponsor. I went running to the beach. He goes, shuffle your feet. And I didn't shuffle my feet. And a stingray fucking went through my whole foot. And I had to just, like, cripple all the way back to the house. The lifeguard picks me up. I'm bleeding everywhere. And he's like, just don't get it on the floor. Just don't get it on the floor. I'm like, my foot's bleeding. So then he made like this little bath for me with hot water.
I'm so kind and considerate. I warned him though. I said, "Fucking shuffle your feet." There was
He goes, "This is I mean, and I've been to like Bolsa Chica and stuff my whole life, but he's like in Sunset Beach. You have to shuffle your feet because it's so flat.
Yeah, the vibration scares them.
Yeah. So but I didn't. I just jumped in.
Yeah,
because
he
that was my first year
follow
of sobriety.
sponsor direction.
Yeah, and I did not follow sponsor direction. That's probably why I'm not his sponsor anymore.
Was the lifeguard hot?
I couldn't even
Picked
think.
you up?
I couldn't think.
He picked you up and was carrying you?
No. In the car, he drove me.
Yeah.
Oh, I
he
was
had
like, damn.
a truck.
A truck.
Okay.
Bitch.
Sorry, I know. That's why I was like, damn, he was a strong man picking your
I know.
body up. Sorry.
What is that supposed to mean?
She
You're
said
so
you're a big
tall.
girl.
I know you're big.
You're so tall. Not me. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Okay, so when I met Brent, it was his second year of sobriety then.
Okay.
Yes, because I
believe
got
you.
sober 2018. So I think it was your second year of sobriety.
Yeah.
He was batshit crazy. But that's why I asked him to be my sponsor. But in like a way where I don't care. So then when he was sharing, he's like, you know, like all this stuff. And like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care. And, you know, God and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be my sponsor. So then I asked him to be my sponsor. And then that's how I got to know Brent.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
gesticulating
that's what
wildly.
he did.
Yeah, cute. I've really had a transformation.
You're speaking words now.
But the reason why he's not my sponsor is because my friend at the time, I would tell him he's not a good friend. And then he started doing steroids with needles in the car. But then he was like, that's not a friend. And I just didn't pay attention. And I was like, I'm not going to listen to Brent. I'm just going to ask him not to be my sponsor.
Yeah, which is cool. Like everyone has to have their own experience. I think I was so rigid this sobriety. Like I was like, I really need it. I really wanted it. I had this new experience with the literature, and I like found a higher power, and I was like really connected.
Fire.
Yeah, and just had access to freedom, and like thought there was like one way to do sobriety, and because it helped me, right?
Yeah.
And that was the message. And it wasn't like I don't know if the first sobriety wasn't hearing that message of depth and weight, if you will. But this time I was really like, if I'm not hearing it, I want to say it. And like really was out there like proselytizing.
No, it helped me because I literally had no idea, but I never had heard of anyone doing steroids, so I had no idea about it. But he told me all this stuff, but I just didn't.
And look at you, you're still sober.
I'm still sober.
Yeah, I was the sponsor that was like, hey, this might not be a good situation. You might want to evaluate.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, oh, he's loaded again.
Yeah.
Right? And you guys are like, you are the company you keep.
Yeah.
Which is not just an AA lesson or an NA or a BA or all the A's.
Yeah.
It's just a life lesson,
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. I would probably say the same thing.
Yeah, if you're at the barbershop thing.
Yeah.
Remember the barbershop?
Yeah.
Like with the haircut?
No, now I see it and I was like, yeah, he's totally right.
Yeah.
You know,
but back in the day, you were not willing to hear someone tell you not to do something.
Do you know Self-Will Run Riot?
That was
That's
me.
Jimmy.
If you spot it, you got it. That was definitely me too.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He goes, I did this. Like, you need to like,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, that's how we know each other.
Yeah.
And through business stuff too.
You both do hair.
I don't do the hair anymore.
Oh.
I do the product
he does
sales.
treatments.
Yeah. I do product sales. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, brand management, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah, I moved up.
Dude, he has a good job.
I
a
do
really good
now.
job.
Thank God.
Yeah.
What a blessing, sobriety.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so your first year, what in your first year did Daryl, when you were, like, you know how me and you were?
Mm-hmm.
Were you doing similar things to me, but then you just stayed with Daryl and you're like, oh shit, I'm not going to do that? Or were you like so rigid where you're like, I'm not doing that. I'm not talking to this person?
Bro, I was so rigid. Like, so rigid. Like, I thought if I
So
didn't
you had
go
no
to...
sex?
No, I had sex. I'm not rigid, but like, I thought I had to do like the same, like I had to be at the same meeting. I had to sit in the same seat. I was like so crazy. But I did.
Because he told you to
No,
do that,
he
or
didn't tell
you
me
just-
anything.
He placed this on himself.
Okay.
Yeah, I just thought like I wanted it. Like
Yeah.
there came a point after like I'm going to give this 30 days to where I was like, oh no, I'm staying sober. Like I've been able to stay sober for 30 days in almost 8 years.
Yeah.
Right. And shit didn't start coming back to me. Like I was estranged from my family. Like I couldn't even cross the threshold at my parents' house. Like they were like, you are not welcome here.
Yeah.
I remember
And,
your 2 years, you were still waiting.
Yeah.
He was still waiting for stuff.
Yeah,
You
and it
would
was
share
fine.
about it.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
I was like, it might not come back. Like I was
Yeah.
so okay with it, like not coming back. But this sobriety gift was like so sacred and precious to me. Like that was what I wanted to keep. I didn't
Yeah.
want to go chase like other shit. Like this was what was precious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I remember when we went somewhere, you had to go to your mom's house, and you're like, stay in the car because they're like, just don't come. They're like, I'm still like not okay with my family right now. At 2 years sober, right?
2 years sober.
They're like, they barely let me in the house.
Yeah, I have like house key to that house now and the alarm code. And when my mom goes out of town, I like watch her house for her, and she trusts me to take care of her dogs. And like, you know, I didn't think or know if that was going to come, but eventually it did.
Yeah.
But like, I was so rigid my first couple years of sobriety. Like this is how it has to be. And, yeah, thank God that's like eased up.
Yeah.
You seem
That's
more
so much
eased up.
fear.
So much fear.
Yeah.
I did have a lot of stuff. I was thinking like funny stories of my first year of sobriety, and like I listened to what Daryl said, and he was the kind of sponsor that was like, don't call me every day. I need you to connect with the higher power. Like that's going to be your defense, not me. I'm a human power. Like get with the higher power. But he did say like, go to your higher power. If you can't solve the problem, come to me. We'll go to my higher power. He was that kind of sponsor, right?
love that.
But I remember so I'm at my mom's house, right? And they barely let me in the house at this point in sobriety. It was like my first 60 days, and I'm like eating, I was just, because I would go grocery shopping at their house, like in the refrigerator, like, you know, and they would like be over my shoulder, making sure like I didn't walk away with anything. And I remember like eating this chicken salad. I'm like, oh my God, this is the best fucking chicken salad I've ever had. Shout out to Gelson's. It was Gelson's chicken salad. And then I turn it around and I start reading the ingredients, and it was like chicken, grapes, and then it was like white wine. And I fucking freaked out. This is how rigid I was in early sobriety. I called my sponsor. I was like, oh my God, I just ate this chicken salad. It has white wine in it. Like, do I have to start my days over? Like, that's an example of how rigid I was in this sobriety. And he was like, no, girl, you do not have to start your days over. Put the chicken salad down. It will be okay.
Put the chicken salad down.
Yeah, that is funny.
That's just insight about how crazy I was. Yeah,
no, absolutely. So how did you move through that?
The rigidity.
Do you feel like that rigidity kept you sober?
Or did it
Or do
hinder you?
Yeah.
No, I feel like it really kept me sober. I really do. I really felt like my higher power at that time saw it fit. Like I got back with Daryl, who had this experience and had been through the big book in a different way and had a spiritual experience and was able to transmit that to somebody else. And I truly believe like that rigidity kept me sober.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that because I feel like who I was as a sponsor 4 years ago was completely different than how I sponsor now.
Yeah.
Like, because I didn't have that spiritual experience yet. Like, God opened my eyes in such a different way to where now, I sponsor completely different. So that's really cool. We haven't talked about that on the podcast yet.
I will tell you though, one thing is like there came a period in my sobriety where like I relied so heavy on the ease and comfort that the steps. So like I went through this process through the book, and we have this big book workshop. It met every week. You go line through line, page by page, because obviously that's how you read a book, right? Front to back.
That's why I left the sponsorship family.
Bye.
Bye. I ain't doing that.
She can read though. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen out there, Jimmy can read. I've heard her. And so I started having this experience where I relied so heavily on that work. I wasn't leaning into a higher power. I was leaning into like the ease and comfort that I was getting from doing the work. And like the whole premise of the work is to connect yourself to a higher power, obviously.
Correct.
And so I found myself like at a couple years sobriety, just like repeating these steps every year so I could feel better, right? And not really like going to God as I understand them.
Yeah.
And so that changed. So there was a period of my sobriety where I was like, I'm not doing the steps this year. I'm actually going to try to like sit through the uncomfortability, like feel the feelings. Like sex was very troublesome to me because I am someone who still search and still to this day, 8.5 years sober, will seek external things to fix what's going on internally, right? And in early sobriety, like other people's opinions of me was like a big one, right? How you viewed me was so important to me, like almost like intoxicating. Like I wanted to be liked so bad, but I have such an active bitch face that it's so hard for people to like me. But like
and he was so rigid. Everyone was like,
like
I can't say anything
goody
around him,
two-shoes.
or else he's
Goody
or else
two-shoes.
he's gonna be like, you're relapsed.
I was insane.
You're the teacher's pet. Kind of that same energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you have to do it exactly this way. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cute. I love
Yeah.
that.
So then how did you get from there?
What was your spiritual experience?
Through it and the spiritual experience that happened where you're now not rigid. Wait, now your face is tight.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing anyone has said to me all year.
And before, I can tell in your face that it was some stuff was like weighing on you, and it wasn't even weight or anything. I just felt like you were so what is it called when someone's wound up tight and tense that you could tell in the face. Now you're not. You know what I mean? Like there's like something that lifted. Do you know what that
happy,
that
joyous,
was?
and free.
Yeah, happy, joyous, and free. Yeah, not being so rigid. I don't. There wasn't.
Oh, I know what it is. He has a boyfriend.
He does for now. Yeah.
He has a boyfriend.
Well, 4 years. Yeah.
Oh.
It's dissolving though right now.
You're
Currently.
lying.
Yeah. No, swear.
Why?
A lot of things. No, not mammoth. A lot of things. We just like sobriety. It's ebbed and flowed, and I think it's like run its course, and so.
Oh.
Yeah, it's cool. Not to get heavy.
You guys look like brothers.
We do, boyfriend twins.
Oh
yeah,
my
I
God.
love him. He loves me.
Yeah.
There's just
He knows that this is ending, right? So this
Yeah.
podcast doesn't-
Yeah. We can also edit this out. That's cool.
No, I don't care. We are not editing this out.
Yeah.
You signed an NDA.
I did not sign anything. We can also edit this at the 36-minute mark.
No, but that's okay. So then, now that you're not rigid and maneuvering through all this, how are you maneuvering through this change of relationship?
God, I don't know. It's like very new. It's new and it's not new. And I think like we've really tried. We did therapy. Like we did all the things. I think,
not with him. With you.
with me.
Staying sober through it.
How am I staying sober?
Because you said you find external things when you're uncomfortable. So what are you doing now? Just the things you learned how to do the first?
I'm avoiding it right now.
Oh, okay.
Like I am not like full set avoiding it. Like
are you
silent
doing
score.
work around it? You're avoiding
I'm like,
it.
yeah, I'm actually avoiding
And that's
it.
actually sometimes good. That's good sometimes. You need to take a step back.
I'm
Pause
actively
when
avoiding
It's like,
agitated.
no. I'm literally just avoiding it.
Yeah.
But
That's
I'm on
not-
a podcast and you brought it up and now I have to fucking talk about it. Thanks.
Or I'm going to the podcast so then I'm not at home.
No, it's fine. We sleep in the same bed still.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's hard. You know, there are
It
things
is
that you
hard.
have to walk through in
Relationship is
sobriety.
hard.
Relationships
Yeah.
are hard. We've been
Yeah.
together 4 years. We just had our 4-year anniversary. I love this man. I can't say anything bad about him.
Yeah.
He looks really nice.
He is very sweet.
Yeah.
He's a middle school science teacher.
I was like, why is he with Brent?
He's so lovely. Yeah, so lovely, so quiet. We're exact opposites. Like, he is the nicest person, and like, we will remain friends. Like, this will be my first adult relationship that I'm like, it's not been vengeful. It's not been like breaking dishes and like throwing in, there's been
You're not going to have a
raised
resentment.
voices.
You
I
can
mean,
stay friends with him. You can see yourself
I
stay
am
friends.
never wanted to be the person who was friends with my ex.
I
just didn't.
am not the person.
Yeah, but I think we can be. Like, I want nothing but happiness
Yeah.
for him, and I know he wants that. Our lives are intertwined. I think it will be fine. I
That's
really
good.
do. Like, my sponsor keeps telling me, like, you've already won. No matter what happens, like, you have literally already won.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't know what happened with the rigidity, and I think time happens. I think like once you accumulate a day, and I only have today, like full stop. Like I have today sober, right? Contingent on my maintenance of my spiritual condition.
Yeah.
But like I think like you have life experiences and you see other people in sobriety go through things that you may or may not go through, and you say if they could stay sober, going through it and talk about it and show up and be of service and all the things, you can too someday, hopefully, when you go through it. And so I think that's all that it's been, is like I've had more life experience and realized there's like sobriety is not a one size fits all.
Right.
No.
It's just not. And like in early sobriety,
That's
it was
what
like,
you realized.
yeah. I think that's the realization, because I was like, this is a one size fits all. It
And
has
you
to be done
realize,
this way.
you also realize that working with others.
Like you.
That's
Dude.
why they
Jim-
tell us we have to work with others,
Yeah.
because it's a fucking mirror. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, yeah, you're going to teach me something that I really need to learn right now.
Jimmy was a great sponsee until he wasn't.
Tell us more. Please tell us more.
He was just like, he wanted, if you would say like, this is my suggestion, he would do exactly the opposite.
I would.
Like just to be like oppositional defiant disorder.
Wow.
Yeah. And
I
I'm like,
would, because I feel like,
You knew better.
no, I just felt like if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. But I don't know really till this day what it is. Maybe you could tell me if it was ego or I just have to like learn my own way. I don't know what it is.
gay face.
It's gay face. It is. It's gay face. Dude, and I went to that meeting Thursday and I fucking hated it the whole time. That whole time I hated it. I felt like everybody was rude.
I wasn't
then
there.
But then I think I just was closed off, you know?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
recently went to that meeting?
No, I have softball now.
Oh, okay.
So then I can't go to that meeting.
Because life happens. Like,
Yeah,
you
life
know,
gets bigger.
Yeah.
practice these principles in all our affairs. And I used to think my affairs was just like the 12 steps in the rooms. And then like when I got sober and had an experience, and just to go back to what the spiritual experience was for me, it was like the educational variety. Like people had to tell me like, you're changing, right? Like you are sober. Like you did not wake up and take a pill or a drug or smoke crack today. And you didn't think about it. You didn't think that was your solution. Like that was where my spiritual experiences started. It wasn't really like white light burning bush. It was like, you're having different experiences. Your whole attitude and outlook on life is actually changing. But people had to tell me. I'm so stubborn.
Yeah.
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 But I like when people tell me.
I'm like you.
Very.
I was stubborn, yeah.
Yeah.
Stubborn.
I feel like, especially when you're sponsoring someone with 2 years sober, like I waited, which I don't advise because obviously this program says be of service, but I waited till I was like almost 4 years sober to first start sponsoring people. And I feel like when I see people who have like a lot less time sponsoring people, it almost becomes like a God complex of like, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. And it like feeds into a sickness. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I do not sponsor like that. I'm like, get a God. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
need to get a
yeah.
God, find
Yeah.
it, like learn it. We'll go through it together. I don't know. My first sponsor was not like that. My sponsor now is a call me every day, and I do almost every day.
You changed sponsors.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
There came a point like at 8 years sober, 7 years sober, where it's like, I love this man and he has saved my life multiple times, but like I needed something different. I needed a new set of eyes on my sobriety. Yeah, no. And so I changed sponsors, and I like had this conversation because like as alcoholics, like wanting something different, wanting something more feels like such a betrayal, right?
Yeah.
Like it's so like unnatural, but it was like, I still talk to him weekly.
Yeah.
And he's still a dear friend of mine, and I love him immensely, and he literally saved my life.
Yeah.
But it's different. Yeah. I just wanted a new perspective.
Yeah, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
feel like people do that all the time.
Yeah, but you got to give it away to keep it.
Yeah, absolutely. And how long were you sponsoring Jimmy for?
6 months. Did we make it 6 months?
I think it was more than that.
Was it?
Yeah,
It's
because
a
it was
blur.
through the summer, and then I played stupid
Gay
faggot
kickball. Yes.
kickball. And then
He was good at it too.
I was really good.
Our team was called the Manhandlers.
Oh, yeah.
I got so mad. Let me tell you, I'm all about your word. No matter if it was outside of sobriety, when I'm loaded, I'm all about you give your fucking word, you show up and you give your 100%. Like, even like in while I was loaded, if I said I was going to do something, minus that one time, Daryl, that I didn't show up for your birthday at the Costa Mesa meeting because I was smoking crack in my bathroom. Minus that time, like if I said I was going to do something, I did it. Like and then so Jimmy, I'm like, hey, we have room on this team. It's called the Manhandlers. I think it would be good that you get out and like have some fun, like outside of the rooms, like experience life.
That's a huge part of sobriety.
Like let's get it. And so we had a team. It was called the Manhandlers. It was black and yellow. Jimmy would braid my hair. I had really long hair. My nickname was Disco Jesus at the time.
Mine was Gay Face.
Yeah. And so I put Jimmy on, and we had this commitment, and our team makes it to the playoffs. And we were like the bad news bears, right? We're like, shouldn't have been there, but ended up there. And who doesn't fucking show off for the playoff game?
Jimmy, Gay Face.
I thought that's what it was. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
I was like, he's upset with me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's fine.
But you know what he did say?
Go back to the team and make that amends. Because we probably could have won if you were there.
Fuck.
He was like, I introduced you to all my friends. You made a commitment, and I look bad.
Yeah, a little bit of
and you look bad. Yeah.
You look bad first, but then
I
look
but
bad.
you're like, you made a commitment to me, and to the friends, and it's
Why
just...
weren't you there? I
have no idea.
Justin. Oh, bleep that.
He's not my friend anymore.
Okay.
He is mad that me and Damon are together.
Okay.
That one.
Yeah. But that tornado. You're a tornado. I'm a tornado. But that's how intoxicating other people's opinions of me was. Because first it was like, you made this commitment and you didn't show up. So like, you look like Boo Boo the Fool. But then also like, you're my friend. And so now like, I feel some type of way, right? Because I have to take that on, which is so crazy.
But
that I care
it's
that
true.
much.
No, but that happens to everybody.
But that does now kind of make sense as to why he was giving you the advice about your friend.
Yes.
He cares so deeply about how people show up for him.
Yeah. And then the friend, because he was my sponsor, I would tell him what was going on, and the friend wasn't showing up the same way as I was trying to, or he saw my intention because he's my sponsor.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I want this guy named Justin to do so good, but then he like brings things for me not to do good.
But also there was like, what does my sponsor say? The intention doesn't matter until it does. The motives don't matter until they do. And so like, I saw Jimmy being of service. He was like, if you don't mind, I'm going to tell the story. He was like, I met this guy. We have like, he was on fire. Like Jimmy like was getting bit by the bug. We were doing the work out of the book, and he's like, I'm going to be of service. And like, he with his good intentions, like went to this man and was like, hey, I'm a hairstylist also. I'm having this experience. I did what you did. I was twisting the pipe at the Sandpiper Motel, right? And now look, I have 6 months of sobriety. So Jimmy was like, I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to take you to meetings. Yeah. Like we really have these things in common, and was really showing him a way. Like there is a way out. Like he truly was doing it. Justin was a good looking guy at the time. And so there was like a little motivation where he was like, cute, right? Yeah. And so, which didn't matter because he still was doing all these other things that did matter, right?
Yeah.
And then, so that happened, and he was really trying to be a sober service, and this guy didn't come with the same type of energy.
Yeah. And there was intentions.
And the same intentions, and the boundaries weren't clear.
Yeah.
And so, like, really, it was a sinking ship.
It was a sinking ship.
And it sunk.
And you could see it. That's
but you
the
know
hardest
what?
part about being a sponsor,
it was
though.
meant to be.
But you can always see the sinking ship.
You got a husband out of it.
Well, no. It was meant to be because I wouldn't have met Damon.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
And he was cute, but then I met him and I was like, he's my friend. You know what I mean?
That's the beautiful part of sponsorship. It's like we literally don't know what God's but we don't know what God's plan
never.
is.
No.
So it's like, you do kind of want to tell someone to not hang out with that person anymore, but God's plan was for you to meet Damon.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I didn't get an invite to that wedding, by the way.
Me either.
We had, because of the fire marshal,
new podcast host coming in. I would make a good co-host just when it's time.
Oh my god, I love you.
If you ever need a fill-in.
A fill-in. Oh, that would be good. A drop-in fill-in.
Because Jimmy's so busy.
So busy.
He's literally everywhere but here. Anyways, okay, wait. So you did mention very, very briefly that you still were like having a lot of sex
So much.
in your first year.
In my first 3 years, I had a very interesting relationship with sex. And my sponsor was always like, if you can invite God into the room before you go like smash and hook up, then like I'm totally okay with it. Like before you go into the room, like, because there were like hookup situations and like my self-worth and validation and who I was so tied to what other people thought about me.
Yeah.
Like that was what I needed.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought I needed.
Yeah.
Right. It was what I wanted and what worked, and it fucking worked. Right. And that happened until I did my first 4-step, and I did a really searching and fearless inventory, and I did a sex inventory, and I did my sex ideal. Right. And so it's so funny because my first year, the sane and sound sex ideal from my inventory was just one thing. It's 2 things. I should know your name. Right. And the other thing was I shouldn't be causing anyone harm. So like I shouldn't be breaking up a relationship at home. Like if there is a partner and they want to join that school, but I shouldn't be involved with wrecking someone else's home.
Right,
So
right, right.
it was
No
like
harm.
I should know your name and there should be no harm caused by having this experience. Right. And that worked. And like I had a period of sobriety and that worked. And I knew everyone's name and I was still smashing and it was still working. And
What would you say to God before?
I would just be like, God, come with me. Here we go again. and the,
I'm so glad I asked.
yeah, here we go again. And the barometer was like, if I found myself in a situation where I wasn't willing to invite God in, I should listen to my intuition. And at 1 year sober, I didn't have great intuition at all because the rigidity. and so I probably shouldn't be in that experience. But there were experiences I went into where I was like, oh, I fucking shouldn't be in this experience, right? Like I ended up in a situation one time, my first year of sobriety, where I walked into like a meth den. And I was like there for 5 minutes. And I was like, can I make this happen? Like if they can, and then I finally was like so proud of myself, spiritual experience, if you will, because I actually got up and was like, this isn't for me, right?
Yeah.
The other thing was my second year of sobriety, like it started becoming a little troublesome. Like just like the whole chase and like getting validation and seeking validation. So when I did my 4-step that year and amended my sex ideal, it was, this should be easy.
So then the second thing came up, but towards yourself.
Yeah.
Which was no harm.
No harm, but it was to myself.
But to yourself.
Yeah. It was there the first year, but like there wasn't.
That was about others.
But you had a click too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had this experience where I was harming. I was harming myself.
Yeah.
I would say that spiritually harming myself.
Yeah.
It didn't feel good, but I was doing it anyway. It stopped working, similar to drugs and alcohol. But I kept pursuing it because I was like, oh, this time it will work. If I try it this way, it will work.
Yeah.
Okay, if I know your
If
name
I'm
and
a
I
bottom,
like,
it'll work.
it will never work. I've tried it twice. For the record, I've tried it twice. I mean, I'm open-minded. Whatever. So the second year, it was like, this should be easy. And I found myself in situations where I'm like, this isn't easy. I don't want to do this. I'm still doing it. And so my third year of sobriety, I said, I'm going to be celibate this year. Like I said, I'm going to take 1 year and not have sex, because similar to how I was doing with the work in Alcoholics Anonymous, using that for ease and comfort and not my higher power, I was doing the same with sex. I was like getting out there and smashing and like thinking I was feeling good and trying to alter how I felt internally, but externally it would appear that I was okay, but internally I was like, I'm fucking dying.
Yeah.
And so I was like, do a vow of celibacy for 1 year. And I learned a lot through that year. It didn't last a year.
Shocker.
It didn't last a year. It lasted 9 months. But what was crazy that came out of it was like, one, who am I to put my God on a timeline? Like I gave God 1 year to fix this problem that I thought I had. And still like in the vein of like how my whole sobriety is, like you need to trust and rely on God, and you're doing everything in your power to use everything else but trusting and relying on God. So who am I to put God on a timeline? That was like the one thing that happened that I like really learned from that experience. And I learned for it to be easy.
Yeah.
I learned for it to be easy. Yeah. And then I got in a relationship for 4 years. So
How did you guys meet?
we met actually in person at a kickball party.
Oh.
Yeah. So we met in real life. Yeah. And then like I followed him on Instagram, and I like slid in his DMs and flirted. I would see him at the gym, and like he would ignore me. I like sent him down a rabbit hole with Amanda Bynes.
Oh my God, I went to college with her.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
At Fitum?
Mhm.
Yeah, cute.
Yeah.
Go off.
Yeah.
She's really doing it.
She's doing it.
Yeah.
We love
Her nails.
Okay, yes. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I'm always like, I always forget that it's her Instagram that I follow because it's not really like branded and it's not like top
No,
tier.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like straight up, like I'm at the nail college.
Yeah. So
And I live for it.
accurate.
Or like the little the apparel with the accoutrements.
Yeah,
I'm, like,
yeah, yeah.
I'm selling it.
Or it's just her in the mirror like this.
I'm obsessed. Yeah, go off.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
Okay, well, I love that. I feel
Yeah.
like that's very, very, very relatable.
Mhm.
You can tell you've done so much work on yourself.
I
So
could
much
tell
more to
you've
A
done
lot
do.
of
so much work.
therapy.
No, I've only done couples therapy. I actually need to go to like
Couples
solo
therapy.
therapy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said that about that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mhm.
It was one of the things we tried before we decided that it's not going to work.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. But I feel like solo therapy is next on the roster.
Yeah,
Yeah. I feel like there's some stuff like, as with everyone
Yeah.
has shit,
Yeah.
right?
absolutely.
It's like, I always was of the school of thought, like, I'm going to get my shit together. And then, like, one of my sponsors was like, then what? Then you have one big pile of shit, like, right? And so I'm like, yeah. So it's like, more will be revealed, right?
Yeah.
That's the
absolutely.
vibe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, as we conclude this episode, what is one piece of advice that you would share with the newcomer, the person under a year?
Oh, God.
If you're especially dealing with someone like Jimmy.
Or yourself.
I would say don't try to figure it out. Like, don't try to figure it out. Just let it happen. I think a lot of distance between you and the program can happen by like trying to figure it out or thinking that you understand it, or like, because like honestly, my first year of sobriety and this year are like so very different and so much more than I thought or could have thought or conceptualized. I still think like the things about sobriety are true. Like as much as I begrudge them, like go to meetings, get involved with the fellowship,
Barbershop.
get a sponsor, like don't hang out at the barbershop. Like eventually I've been around long
Yeah.
enough to know that like I've seen people like they want to be like first chair at the barbershop, right?
Yeah.
And want to hang out there, and eventually like it happens, they end up getting haircuts. And
Yeah.
that's what's great about sobriety is you get to come back if you can, if you're alive, right? If you make it. Like I used to tell people like, good luck out there and I hope you make it back alive. And I truly mean that because not everyone does, right? Like we see people die here. This disease is literally life and death. How many people do we know that have passed? I mean, so many. How many people do you know that have passed?
Both
Like,
my ex-boyfriends.
yeah, this is life or death, right? That's what we're dealing with, and we get today.
Yeah.
So I would say that'd be my big, like, do the things they tell you as, like, hokey as it sounds, right? Like, hold the hand, say the prayers, right? Do the meetings, fellowship,
Yeah.
get to know people, and, like, get as honest as you can.
Yeah.
Like, there are levels to honesty and surrender, and even at, like, 8.5 years sober, I have trouble with the honesty component, and I think it's more a reflection of, like, I don't want to be entirely honest because I have to let you in. I have to be vulnerable. Like, I still have these failed strategies for living that my sponsor calls them, which is, like, I have this defense of, like, because I've been through so much trauma and traumatic shit while I was out there, like I have these defenses built that I need you to stay far enough away to where I can control the negotiation, right?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
still do that in my sober life.
Yeah.
And one way of controlling that is to like not be completely honest,
Mhm.
right? So there's stuff even like that I'm still learning,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I'm still walking through.
Yeah.
And like I'm so imperfect, but for the newcomer, like just fall in with a group of people, find your people, like laugh a lot. That's so important in early sobriety is to like really laugh. We laughed a lot.
We laughed a lot.
So
it was
much.
fun.
Yeah.
If you're not having
I'm gonna
fun,
ask
you're
you
not
to be
going
my
to stay
sponsor
sober.
again.
He's like, no,
No,
thank you.
I would always sponsor him. Yeah. I never say no.
I actually have had a very interesting experience with Jimmy's sponsor. So.
Who is your sponsor right now?
His name is Mean Gene, and he's kicked out of every meeting
Wait,
in the
wait.
He's
area.
literally
Did
been
you-
86 for meetings.
But he was with the rehab, right? The straight people? Not that straight people are bad. Don't get me wrong.
No, my friend, COVID. My friend,
I know her.
my trans friend, COVID. During COVID, my trans friend, Nikki.
Shout out, Nikki.
I saw her. I was talking to her, and I was like, "What are you doing tonight?" There was no meetings. Everything was on Zoom. She's like, "I'm going to a meeting," and I was like, oh my God, I want to go. I need to go.
Yeah.
And I was like, I cannot do Zoom. It drove me nuts.
Same.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Ugh.
I want to go to the secret meeting. I want to go to the super spreader meeting. I don't give a fuck.
Not the super spreader.
I walk in, there's a Trump hat, everything, and I was like, I don't give a fuck who
Yeah.
you vote. I just need a meeting. I don't care.
Yeah.
And it was this guy's meeting, and he goes, "Why are you here in my house?" And I was like, "I need a meeting. I'm in this relationship." He goes, "Oh, great, another gay guy. This has become a faggot meeting."
Oh,
But
wow.
I thought it was so funny because I grew up with brothers, and we're just.
I grew up with brothers.
Yeah, so that you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He meant it as like more.
love.
Yeah, with love, and he goes because he loved it because he said that all the gay people always are willing to do stuff and love him more than the other guys.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I just was like, I brought Damon in. We were having problems because it was the beginning of a relationship. And then he's like, ask him to be your sponsor or we're not going to be together. And I was like, all right.
Oh, not the ultimatum.
That's what he said. Because I was going to Dorothy. Shout out to Dorothy. She co-signed my whatever therapist. She's like, you're good. Damon's fucked up. And we went to this meeting and this guy was like, you're fucked up, Jimmy. You both are fucked up. And the girl was trying to say I was good and not Damon.
Do you have Dorothy's number?
I know. Dude, we did couples counseling with Dorothy.
Send her my way.
We
I
did
need Dorothy.
couples counseling with Dorothy. She did not shut up. Damon looked at her and said, I've never been to a therapist that does not let her clients talk, and she talks the whole time.
I fuck with Dorothy.
I know.
Send her my way. Send her my way.
She's like, oh, I'm so sorry, Damon. She goes, this is why you are the problem.
Oh my God.
Damon hates Dorothy. But wait, then we went there. He goes, leave Dorothy. This is your sponsor. He didn't say, or I'll leave, but he goes, you need someone that tells you the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what happened. And that's why I asked him. But his name is Mean Gene and he's crazy. We'll probably have him on.
Does he have a motorcycle?
He has a lot of cats.
He has a lot of.
I'm not a cat person.
I'm not either.
No?
I'm deathly allergic.
Okay.
Yeah, and I went to this
But that's
meeting
it.
with Jimmy, and there was just cats everywhere, and I was like, I have to
Why?
get the fuck
Was it
outta
in
here.
someone's house?
It's at his
It's
house
at his
because
house.
he's been 86 from all the other meetings.
But which ones?
Well, no, he's had that house meeting for years.
Yeah, but
But he's always been.
Is it working for you? Is Mean Gene and you like
Yeah.
working? Okay, good.
It
Are
is.
you honest
Yeah.
with him?
Yes.
Do you take direction?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, but I think
But
no, but you know why? It's not because of him. I think it's because of everything around me.
it's you. Not everything around you, it's you.
Yeah, you're right. I made a decision. You're right. I made a decision to actively say yes and follow through with this sponsor.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I'm truly happy for you.
I really like you, though.
Thank you so much.
I don't-
Got
I don't-
co-host. Yeah, fill it. I'm coming. I will do no prep work. I will just show up and freestyle.
That's what we do.
Yes. No, we do a little prep work.
Yeah.
Okay, so our last final question. Is there one, now I remember what you were trying to
I
get at the other-
fucking
I'm
told
sorry.
you, bitch.
I'm sorry.
You fucked up the last episode.
We can edit.
Because I said, do the other one you're doing, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking
No, I
about.
know, but my brain went blank and I
Okay.
couldn't be put on the
Is
spot.
it going to be like if I had to sleep with one of you, which one would it be?
I saw your ex-wife. Just kidding.
I only bought them when I'm on meth.
And break cabinets off of walls.
Oh my god,
Wait,
I forgot.
do we have enough time for this story?
Maybe for
Run
a
it. Run it. I don't care.
Oh
I-
totally forgot about that. My first year had no bed in my apartment.
Okay.
I only had a bed frame. That's all I could afford. So I slept in the bed frame with. Okay, long story short, I went on and I was doing massages for men.
Massages.
And it would be like, I'm in a massage therapy school, $20 an hour. But then if
Happy
you want,
ending or no?
if you
In
want a
your
happy,
sobriety.
if you want a happy ending, it's $150 instead of $100. So everybody wants a happy ending, obviously.
Yeah.
Wait, is this in your sobriety?
1 year of sobriety.
Yeah.
Oh my
Go off, though. Judgment free zone. But
Okay, so then I saw this post that said, rip everything in my apartment while I feel your muscles and I jerk off.
And
I
it was Brent. I'm
It-
just kidding.
And I said, and it said, and you know what it said in the thing? I'll buy you whatever you want. And I'm like, I need a mattress. So I went and so I went.
Mind you, I know this guy. Come to
And
find
this
out.
guy, his name is, I don't give a fuck. Where's my mattress, Ralph?
Yeah, Ralph, run him his mattress.
I went, did all the work, literally ripped everything. He was on meth. I was sober. I'm like, and I knew him from the rooms. I'm like, oh my God, it's that guy.
Yeah.
And so he goes, I'm going to buy you this mattress. Vivian Westwood. No, what's the Asian girl designer?
Vera Wang.
Vera Wang
Why
mattress.
do I know that?
From like Neiman Marcus. It said bought and delivered to my house. I saw the whole thing. I got the email. $3,800 or $4,800, maybe $5,000, I don't know. And then 2 days later, I got an email that said your order's canceled.
Oh,
So I did all that work, and he canceled it. And he's sober, and he's like, his family's a quadrillionaires.
But also, he probably didn't get his deposit back. Let's be honest.
Yes, and also that, but. That's why he said that story, because I fucking did that for a mattress and I never got it. I went to his house, yelled everywhere, open your fucking door, I want my mattress. Nothing. I said if he comes through this door right now, I'm sharing out loud at him.
Mm.
But he never came through.
No.
I think he moved back.
Okay.
You better stay in the
I hope
East
he's
Coast.
watching this podcast. Okay, so anyways, our final question is there one quote that has stuck with you throughout your sobriety that you heard in that first year or in your first 3 years of your first sobriety that has stuck with you that has like really carried you through?
Yeah, it's so silly too.
I love
I
that.
was the like I don't want to do it guy. Like I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. Like I did a lot of I don't want to do it, and someone told me they were like, "Cool, you can not want to do it while you're doing it."
Yeah.
Like, and that was like a mantra that I was like, I get the I don't want to do it or the fuck it's, you know,
Yeah.
as they're known now.
Say it again.
It's like I don't want to do it, and it's like cool, you can not want to do it while you're doing it.
I
Like
that.
that's the
Love
kind of
that.
sponsorship I had in
Yeah.
early sobriety. They were like,
Yeah.
"Cool, I get that
Yeah.
you don't want to do it. You can
Yeah.
actually feel that way and still get it
Yeah,
done."
both things can be true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
Oh, love that. Well, thank you so much, Brent. I love when people just like know all this shit about Jimmy and just can.
There's more.
Yeah, oh, I bet.
Part two.
We'll have you on again. Gay face.
Yes. He had a jersey that said it.
Yeah.
Oh,
He-
for the team that you didn't show up for.
Yeah.
Manhandlers. Shout out Long Beach
From
Outlaw
Long Beach.
Sports. Yeah.
Long Beach. I'm sorry to the trans pitcher. What was her name?
Bro, she's not trans.
Oh.
Problematic. I'm surprised there's not a Trump flag hanging above my head right now.
This is a PC-free zone.
I love that.
Thank you.
Oh, God. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up now. I'm Breezy.
And I'm Jimmy.
And we are
Sober Disclosure.
Thank you so much. Love ya.
Who does this?
Bye.
Reagan?
Ronald
Reagan?
He's dead.
I know. This episode is brought to you by Light Salon, Orange County's premier destination for expert hair color. At Light Salon, we specialize in creating stunning custom color transformations that highlight your natural beauty. Owned and operated by passionate, sober stylists, we bring authenticity, creativity, and precision to every client experience. Light Salon.